why.
Hello Geekers and welcome back to Nerdy Geek Universe, a YouTube for all types of nerds. I have someone special here today.
Hello.
Stephen Prince. You may have heard of him as the Digimon Emperor from Digimon Season 2 and Vmon and X-Vmon and so on. So today we're here with him for an interview at Omni Expo 2018. So how does it feel to be at a convention here in Orlando?
Well, very first time visiting Orlando, and so far it's been awesome. Everybody's been very nice, and as far as tech goes, I know it's nothing that you guys normally see because it's stuff that happens behind the scene, but I gotta hand it to the people that are helping out. They are absolutely on top of everything. It is amazing.
Yeah, too bad you weren't a guest here last year. I actually hosted an assistive technology panel.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yep. So you guys get to see something like this.
Right. Awesome.
How does it feel to meet your fans down here?
It feels really good. I mean, I don't know if I'm like a lot of voiceover actors that are out there, but I realize that no convention would be possible without people like you guys. You guys are what make stuff like this possible. And anytime that I'm at a convention, I always try to give back to the community. So I do things like what we're doing today. Not only am I doing an interview, but it's kind of like doubling because I do a panel called Jeopardy, and in it, whoever gets the most questions right gets to win a one-on-one, meeting.
Yeah.
And just talk and chat, and I try and give back, and fans appreciate that. I try and help take care of staff because they work hard. They don't get paid for what they do. They volunteer their time and their hours, and a lot of time they don't even get to see panels, which is really sad. But they're here to do a job, and so I give back to them in a certain way as well. Yeah, I mean, so far it's been great, and totally freaked out because I saw a bunch of girls that were huddled over in the side over there earlier, and they were all Danganronpa characters, and I was just like totally freaking because I'm in Danganronpa, both V2 and V3, and I definitely recognized one of the characters from V3, and one of the things I don't mean to be mean about it, but one of the things that I do is when I realize that there's a character who's dressed up as me, I'll walk up to them. And people don't know who I am unless they hear my voice.
Exactly. Because
so
your voice is easy to recognize.
Right.
I'm like, oh, hello, Mr. Prince.
Yeah. So I just walked up to them, and the one who was specifically dressed up as me, I started talking to her, and she like did a double take. It's like, wait, what?
It's like
wait, that's you, and you're me, and I'm you, and it was very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
So.
By the way, speaking of Jeopardy, guys, we were the couple that won. So.
Right. Yeah.
All I have to say, those questions were a little tough, but we did our best.
Absolutely.
It's one of the funniest things that you'll ever do, and if he's in your town, make sure you check it out.
For sure.
What has been one of your favorite band experiences?
One of my favorite fan experiences. You know what? Trying to think. I mean, I've had a lot of them, but trying to point one out in particular. I would have to say one of the best experiences I had was probably, I think it was the last convention that I was at, which was London Anime and Gaming Expo.
Really?
I was in London, and there was a gentleman who came up to me during my personal panel, during the Jeopardy panel, and he was very sincere. He said, I just wanted to thank you for the work that you've done. You had inspired myself. I'm gonna. He said, you helped me get through a time.
It's all right. It's all right.
He
It's
said,
fine.
you helped me get through a time in my life when my dad passed away, and I didn't think there was a lot to live for. And to know that I helped somebody out that way, you know, and I'd never met them before, with just doing what I do. I know obviously that I'm doing what I was meant to do, you know,
Right.
in terms of just helping people any way that they can. So, sorry about that, guys.
It's fine.
It's
Yeah.
quite all right. When we interviewed Steve Bloom a while back,
Yeah.
he had a similar story of.
Yes. I kind of choked up myself.
Trust me, these are great stories, and it's good that people hear about them.
Yes. Because you inspire them.
Yeah.
I mean, I inspire people too because of my blindness.
All right. Yeah, that's part of why we do this, is because we want to get those stories out there,
Yeah.
so that everyone understands. So that they all know that you guys do make a difference, that this is good stuff, and that they know that that this isn't just some game to you guys.
Right. Yeah. No.
Especially with how things took place with, the strike, how Paul St. Peter was talking about. It was like, oh, geez, these guys do make a difference, Because you guys provide the voice, and you're human too, and it's work that you bring to the character and make them come alive.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. How did you get into voice acting?
It's a great question. Actually, I know that sometimes people say, things happen for a reason, or fate, or whatever the case might be. I'm not sure what it was exactly, but I've been acting since I was 10 years old, and I'm happy to admit it. So as an actor, I've been acting for the last 39 years. So
Wow.
that's a very long time.
Nice.
Wow.
And so that's when I started off, and I was, in some commercials, and I was in some TV shows. And then I focused on stage. So from the age of since I was 10, going all the way through, I took theater classes when I was in high school, in elementary school, in college. That's what I got my Bachelor of Fine Arts degree in, musical theater. And my dream, because I was primarily a stage actor, was to be on stage and be on Broadway. So I went to New York for a couple of years and did that. I realized, because of my unique set of skills, because I was considered at that point in time, I don't know if you guys still call it that, but at that point in time I was called a triple threat. So
Really?
I could sing, I could dance, and I could act.
I
And
like how you said you could tap dance.
right.
Wow.
I realized, because of those unique set of skills, not that they weren't viable on Broadway, but I found that there were a lot less people that were triple threats that were touring. So what I found myself doing is that I was touring a lot and living out of a suitcase. And that's fine if you're the kind of person that likes to live out of a suitcase. But after about a year and a half, I realized that's not what I wanted to do. And so I said, you know what, I'm going to go back to California, which is where I'm from, and give it a shot out there. So I took some classes, I got an agent, I booked some jobs on television as some guest roles, did a couple of commercials, and one day, out of nowhere, agent that I had just decided to leave the business. Just not tell anybody where he was going, just, I'm gone.
So you ninja'd out.
Ninja'd out, basically. And so here I was left with, like, okay, now what do I do? So I did some theater. I took some classes at the SAG Conservatory, which is the Screen Actors Guild Conservatory, which is a building that, as long as you are in the union, you are able to take classes without paying for them. And was able to, you know, just kind of hone my craft, make sure that I was still up and running. And then there was one class that I took, which was Introduction to Voiceovers.
Really?
And it was taught by Bob Bergen. If any of you guys know that name or that name sounds familiar, it's because he does the voice of Porky Pig and Tweety Bird for
Oh
Warner
my
Brothers.
God! Now
Yeah.
I grew up on those voices.
And he took over from Mel Blanc, because Mel Blanc is the man
The
who
original.
created
The original.
all of them, but he became the new Porky Pig and Tweety Bird. And so I took the class from him, and because of the training that I already had as an actor, he thought that I'd just been doing this for a long time, because I saw the script, we had to, you know, read something from it, and, you know, pretend like we were in front of a microphone, or behind a microphone. And so I specifically remember like the 40 or 50 people who were there as actors, who I say that in quotes because they were god awful, and I don't know how they got their Screen Actors Guild,
Yeah, good point.
but they did. But he stopped me out of all the people and he said, so can I have your demo? And I had no idea what he was talking about. Like, what is a demo? And what I realized is that a demo is the same thing as a resume. So if you guys ever go out for a job, a voice actor's resume is his demo. So it basically has basically a 1 minute short introduction, if you will, to what a voiceover actor sounds like. So for commercial, it's like, can you sound sad? Can you sound excited? Can you sound energetic? Can you sound happy? All that stuff in different, you know, types of commercials that are all combined into 1 minute. Same thing with a animation demo. Exactly the same thing happens, where you kind of have to combine all these different things into, you know, as short as a period of time as possible. And then you send that out to various casting directors or agents or producers or whatever the case might be, so that you can potentially get hired.
Gotcha.
So he asked me if I had a demo, and I had no idea what he was talking about, because all I knew was on-camera stuff.
Right.
You know, it's like, well, why would you want my on-camera demo for voiceovers? He goes, no. There's a demo specifically for voiceovers.
Right.
I'm going, oh. He says, what, you've never heard of that before? And I said, no. And he goes, oh, wow, well, you know, I mean, just from the way that you were reading, it sounds like you've been doing this a while. If you really want to hone that skill,
Right.
then you should
Make a demo.
make a demo, take some classes, you know, learn as much as you can, and hopefully you'll be able to do something. So I did I took classes from him, and I took classes from other people that were very prominent in the industry at the time. So there were people like, let's see, Charlie Adler and Sue Blue and Nicholas Amana, and I took some classes from some other people. And so I basically took classes for about like a 4 to 5 month period. And then after that, I put a demo together. Demos are very expensive, by the way, guys.
Really?
At least in Los Angeles, they can be. So I remember what my first demo cost me, which was close to $1,000.
Dang.
Yikes.
And that was just my first demo. By the way, right now on my commercial demo, I'm on my 5th demo. And on my animation demo, I'm probably on my 3rd or 4th. So I did a demo for both commercials and animation. And I just started trying to get myself out there. And at that point in time, I don't think they do it anymore, but they had a publication through Hollywood Reporter, which they did an animation special for. And the animation special was like twice a year, so once in February, once in November. And so what I did was I just went down the list and I just started calling people. At that point in time, when things weren't being as secretive, you could actually get a hold of the casting director, you can get a hold of the director, you can get a hold of the engineer. There was a whole list with their names and phone numbers, and you could just call them up. So I basically called up every single production company that I could.
So you could network,
yes. And
Yes.
say, hey, my name is Derek Stephen Prince, I'm a voice actor, I was wondering if I could send you my demo. And that was pretty much my spiel.
Right.
And of course, because I came into it at a point in time when, at that point in time, almost 23, 24 years ago, there were not as many voiceover actors as there were today. So the voiceover
Right.
actors that they had, it's like, why do we need another voiceover actor? And especially because the mediums at that point in time were only radio and television.
Exactly.
There was no internet, stuff going on at that point in time. It was internet at that point in time was very new.
You basically have to do like snail mail
Exactly.
in order to get anything out there.
Exactly. So but that was my spiel, I called up all these different production companies and kept getting the doors slammed in my face.
Wow.
And I probably did that for a couple of weeks, and I just happened to see this one-page spread from Saban, and so I called them and went through my spiel as normal, And my name is Derek Stephen Prince, I'm a voiceover actor, I was wondering if I could send you my demo. And so, she answered the phone and she said hi, but then after that, then and I did my spiel, then I didn't hear anything. And I thought, okay, well maybe,
silence.
it's like maybe like there's a connection that was lost, maybe
Or
I
you came on a little too strong.
or I came on a little too strong, and it's like, hello, are you still there? And she goes, yeah, hang on a second, I'm just checking something. I'm going, okay. So then she gets back on, she goes, so, what are you doing next Thursday?
Wow.
And I'm going, I don't know why. And she goes, well, I was just wondering if you might want to come in and audition for the show that we're doing called Power Rangers. And I'd never heard of the show before.
Right.
So I had no idea what she was talking about. To me, it was just like, okay, whatever. It's like, and my response back to her was, wait, you don't want me to send my demo to you? Like, because that's what normally production companies would ask for. And she was so funny because she was this African-American lady, and she goes, why do I need to hear your demo when I am talking to you on the phone? And I said, okay, fair enough. So she brought me in, and this was the secretary, by the way, who just happened to be picking up the phone. The secretary of all people. And so I went in, I auditioned, and the audition was for Auric the Conqueror on Power Rangers Zeo, which, for those of you guys who know my work, that was the very first voiceover role that I did. Obviously, I booked it.
I didn't know that.
I booked it, and because of, when I go into the booth, I try and be as professional as I possibly can be.
Gotcha.
I realize that they are paying me to do work that they heard me audition for, and they're expecting me to do that work 100, if not 110%.
So basically what you did in the audition, you had to pass
Oh yeah,
it to the
absolutely. And on top of that, I realized that their time is money. Like, they have to, if it is not their own studio, they have to pay money on the hour, every hour, for the time that they are using to record. And I mean, obviously that wasn't the case with Saban, because Saban had their own, production company. But I went in there just very professional. It's like, focus. It's like, I'm here to do a job. That's what I'm doing. And because they have guest directors that are on Power Rangers,
yes,
there was a guest director that was actually doing that one thing, and I don't remember who that guest director was. It may have been either Michael Sorich or Richard Epcar or
Wait, Richard Epcar was one of the directors of it?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
'Cause I interviewed him like many years ago during Metro.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, to my recollection, now I might be mixing things up,
Yeah,
but
possibly.
I do remember that. I definitely remember Michael Sorich directing. I believe, I don't know if Wendy Lee was directing at the time. She may have been. But there was basically, the long and short of it is that there was a guest director that was directing that episode. And because it was not the normal director that would be directing it, word started spreading around. It's like, have you heard this new guy, Derek Stephen Prince? Because he is on top of it. Like, he gets in, he gets out, he does what he needs to do, and and so word started spreading around. And then after I did Power Rangers Zeo for I don't know how many episodes it was for Auric, but then that led into Power Rangers Turbo, and then Beetleborgs, and then from Beetleborgs, also at Saban. Saban did, I don't know if it was my first anime. I'm trying to remember, it may have been, but there was a show that I did called Super Pig, which if you can find it out there, I would be amazed because they never released it.
Really?
Like, it's supposedly on DVD somewhere on a shelf, and it's dusty, you know, and if you can find it, great.
Yeah, Paul St. Peter talked about one other series he worked on and it never got released.
Yeah. So, but basically that one gig led to kind of morphing into everything else that started happening as far as getting involved in anime, getting involved, and me being
Video
proactive.
games and everything.
Me being, so here's another little story. So any of you guys who know Bang Zoom and the shows that they do, which are amazing, the president of the company, Eric Sherman. Funny story. So because of me being proactive, and it's only because I was proactive that this happened. Like, if I had not been an actor that was on top of it and just like constantly trying to get work, I never would have met him. But he happened to do an ad in another magazine called Backstage West. And that was a magazine for actors that could go out and audition for stuff that they see auditions for. At that point in time, the quote-unquote title that he was using to get to meet actors was Frankenstein, and he wanted people to come in and audition for it. Now, he didn't have a studio at the time.
Gotcha.
He was working out of his house.
Yes. That's
Eric, if you're watching this, my bad. So, but he did it out of his house, and I came in, and I remember, you know, it's like he was just trying to meet voiceover actors and audition them, and so I have a very special love for Eric in a bro way, and because of that longevity of that relationship, has led to some of the greatest shows that I've done to date. And just through him, if it wasn't through his company, I may not have ever done Guts, the pug from Kill la Kill. I may not have ever gotten to do the Danganronpa games that I was involved in, either as Kuzuyu or as Kokichi, if it wasn't for him. Now, keep in mind, I know some of you guys know